everybody. As you can see, there's a bit of a something missing.
She's a person. It's not a something.
It's sad, right? So this week on the Headspace podcast, we made our way to episode 20. That is 20 episodes in 20 fucking weeks. Since November 16th, we've been grinding consistently at
Consistently.
this. We were all hyped up because, well, it's a big deal, right?
It is. Let's go.
As you know, the format goes, we talk about a thing, a subject of some kind. This week it's gentrification, spoiler alert, and all that shit. And then we follow it up with an album review of some fun nature. This week it's Rick Ross. See, this housekeeping is actually a result of Daemon. And as you can see, there's a... I don't understand what's going on here, so...
He's kind of been tripping all day, and, you know...
I got this phone call earlier today. Damon's sick, so she won't be with us tonight, unfortunately. And it sucks, but here we are. We'll just have to make do. Some guys... I didn't do my hair because there's no lady here. Fuck Chris is all I'm trying to say. So this is HSR.
Fuck you, Holden.
This is Chris Crow. And
what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Headspace.
On the note of housekeeping, just before we get into it, if you don't care about any topic per se, or you're bored, just hit the show more in the comment section, and everything's listed out. You can click on those links and just jump to what the fuck you care about.
Yep.
Before we get into the meat of it, Chris, what soda stream are you drinking today?
Oh, we forgot that. Today I got some root beer.
And I am kicking it still with the old-fashioned lemonade. In my opinion, like I've said...
How long you been doing that?
Yo, dude, I bought 2 bottles the last time I went to the Canadian Tire because it's the greatest fucking beverage I've tasted. I actually have to, like, conserve it and drink other stuff just to make sure I don't run out. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I don't drink this that often. It's almost all exclusively for Headspace these days.
Wow, we keep it exclusive.
It's not that. I'm trying to live a little bit healthier. And
it's always a good thing, though. It's always a good thing.
So I drink a lot of water and a lot of coffee, which is a lot less healthy in the copious amounts I consume. But alas, we live as we live.
Well, it's better than drinking an energy drink, right?
A little bit. I try not to, actually. I feel like energy drinks they're kind of bad in like a bigger way. Like you feel gross when you drink them. Coffee, if you drink too much, it makes your stomach a little feel weird. But in general, it's kind of what it is. I digress.
Anyway.
Speaking of coffee, one sure way to know that gentrification's about to hit your hood is when the $5 lattes start appearing up in your hood. And,
hello, Starbucks.
So, welcome to episode 20 where we discuss gentrification, and I care about this subject a little bit, a lot actually. So what happened is I've, I guess, always looked for the cheapest apartments possible, and I've never really cared in what areas I've lived in. But I've also never really been rich, and I come from living in the lower end of apartments. And I suppose as I started rising up the economic ladder, not to say I'm doing great, but relatively speaking, I've managed to carve out a little something for myself to increase my social status.
Well, come on. Just like we said, it's episode 20. We made it this far.
Well, no, I'm just talking about like my life over life, you know? Like,
all right.
Like just in a money sense, I've improved enough to be able to afford to have more. And so I was living in like the ghettoest of ghettoest little dirt hole fucking apartments in, you know, a certain part of Montreal. And then bugs came, and it wasn't like my fault. Like the whole complex had ants, and it was fucked up.
Bug problem.
And then I moved, and it was weird. I moved into this excellently priced apartment, this 4.5. That's a 2-bedroom.
Okay.
In an area that is several blocks away from, let's say, 20 years ago, what would have been considered a dangerous part of town per se.
Oh shit.
Where certain demographics would have lived, and I'm not saying color of skin, etc. I'm saying certain types of people would have lived, and the overall value of the area is kind of shit.
All right.
Like when I was a kid, I was not allowed to walk on that street. Like we just didn't go there. That's the kind of like area it was. And I don't mean to talk shit or I'm just saying the reputation of the hood, we'll call it.
Okay.
So now, like, I moved in with the girlfriend, and we were apartment hunting, and we come across this place, and, like, the area, just kind of the red flag of, oh, it's that area. But, like, you know, I've lived here my whole life, more or less, and to me, it's kind of like home to be in this neighborhood. It just, there's all sorts of childhood memories and shit. And so we come and check it out, and it's like newly renovated, and it's got like
Things have changed.
this like blessed fucking new countertop, and it's got all sorts of fucking appliances, and the rent is very competitive in a way that it's above and beyond what, let's say, a poor person could afford.
Okay.
Like, it's not cheap what I have. It's cheap compared to, let's say, Toronto, but compared to the area of what it used to be, it's hundreds of dollars a month higher than what used to be in this part of town. And so we snatched it up, we grabbed it, we moved in, and then I guess I started looking here and there into gentrification, and it kind of clicked that I'm an active participant in gentrification. I'm part of that middle-class social tier of life. I'm an artisty type, and I moved into an area that is not as great as it could have been.
But hold on, when you say you're active, you're an active participant in gentrification. What do you really feel about it? Like, how do you associate yourself to be active like that?
Well,
like
I kind of don't. Okay, I want to like retract it a bit and say, on the outside, I feel a little bit like I'm actively participating to this gentrification issue. I don't want to call it a problem. Why? Because I probably do better economically than a lot of the people who formerly lived in this area.
All right.
I can afford to go shop at more expensive restaurants and things. I'm not saying that I do. I'm ghetto and cheap. But I have the buying power to consume it. So let's say the local grocery store does get more expensive. Or let's say whatever, and I'm feeling lazy. I can just go afford to pay that extra little bit of money.
Right, but that's not...
But on the other hand, I fucking love this area since I'm like, I don't know, a kid. And for me, it's not really a gentrification effort. It's more of a, this is my home, and I just happened to find this place inside of my like home a little bit over from where I once lived.
But my question to you is, you said you have the buying power to purchase the apartment and still be able to live free, right?
Rent it, let's be real.
Rent it and pay it, do what you got to do.
Huge difference in my buying power there.
Of course. But you do have... You can still be able to afford your rent every month and be able to still live comfortably of how you want, right?
Man, I'm like, it's been a very long time since I've really had to struggle, we can call it.
All right, but how do you consider that part of gentrification when you are...
it's part of the neighborhood,
it's not really anybody's fault,
So let's
right?
look at gentrification then, right? Like, what is it? So where it comes into gentrification is the behind the scenes. So before we go into any kind of official terms, I'd like to just talk a little bit about some of the story that went into, let's say, getting the apartment and what we were told.
All right.
And I'm going to be a little vague just because I live here and just in case, So
Safety
we were
first.
informed that the apartment was purchased recently by new landowners. Now, if you look around Montreal, there's basically giant firms of people who own properties, buy buildings, and then rent them out to people. And there's all sorts of them. You can basically, when you're looking for apartments, you can go on Craigslist where it's more like an individual level. But really, most of these companies have websites that show all their listings that you can find, and it's often even these companies that are doing the posting. And so whoever you're renting from is from one of X number of groups, as they're called, right?
Okay.
And so what the group did is it purchased this building a couple of years ago, and what it kind of does is it encourages certain people to leave. So they start renovating the building. Now, when you renovate the building, you put X much expenses into the building, and the way the rent increases in general just work is up to X% of the rent, it gets increased based on X amount of money spent on the building split up over the number of tenants, thus justifying this much money increased over blah, 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 right?
Right, but hold on.
Now, hold on.
They're renovating for a purpose, though.
But no, the specific purpose then is because, let's say previous owners didn't put that kind of work in. When it came to rent increase time, you're talking about $6 a month, $8 a month. Cheap, small numbers.
All right.
Now, if you consider it's like 5 or 6 or let's say 3 or 4, I don't know. Let's say 3 to 5% is the number that you can increase the rent, and at $500, that we're talking like $15, $20 a month. So if every year they can legally bring it up $15, $20 a month, over a ballpark of 10 years, you've now changed the socioeconomic class of that place of the current existing tenant.
Okay.
Now what happens then is it kind of makes the place more expensive, maybe not right away, but over time, and the quality of the place maybe isn't as great as you'd like versus, and so it encourages, let's say, lower economic people to leave. And then what also happens is because all these renovations come in, the new tenants ultimately get charged a significantly increased rent. So I'm certain that anybody living in my building from back in the day pays hundreds, $300-$400 a month
More
less,
than what they used to.
or like less than what I would pay for the exact same place. But I get all the renovations, and apparently there's like extra insulations in my walls. And
hold
blah,
on,
blah,
hold
blah.
on, hold on, hold on. But that times change, right? We can agree that times do change, and as times change, jobs come in, prices elevate, and
of course,
right? So realistically, people need to keep up and stay modernized with the new trend in fashion to stay updated with what's happening economically.
Well, the thing is, it's about the targeted effort, right? So they know that there's a bunch of old, beat up, shitty buildings in my part of town.
Right.
And so very thrifty, very rich people buy these buildings, renovate them with the intentions of, getting rid of the old tenants and replacing them all with new tenants, paying significantly more, thus increasing the property value of their home, like the whole building, the rents, everything. But it also changes who lives in the building.
Well, actually, wouldn't that would be part of hipsterification?
Yeah, that's a way to look at it. I mean, as much as I'd like to hate it, it could be argued that in some ways I do fit the paradigm of a near 30-year-old hipster. I mean,
Yay, Holden, join the dark side.
Well, no, I'm not. I actively resist, and I try to be an individual, but fuck, I mean, I can't, like, the beard and the toque, I mean, the hoodie, like, it's a hard sell to say that I don't have some hipster characteristics, okay?
Well, I mean, hold on. You like what you look like, right?
Right, I do. I love it.
So you can't really.
Okay, so the difference between me and the hipster is if this is not cool next year, I'll still wear this because I was wearing this 5 years before it became cool.
Right.
Granted, I didn't have the balls to grow the beard. Now I do. I get made fun of. I still keep it.
Props to you, Holden.
So where I was going with it, though, is so let's say my neighbors missed their rent 1, 2, 3 times in a row, right?
Okay.
Now, the leniency that may have been given to them under the old owners is now gone, and they're kind of taken to court, and they're evicted, and then it gets one way or another as soon as the opportunity arises. Now, is this happening in my building to the extreme of the negativeness? I doubt it. I kind of like where I live, etc. It's pretty solid peoples. But the premise of what's happening, where all over the neighborhood. And then another way to look at it is all the condos. All over Montreal, you see all these condos appearing, and it raises property value. And because property value goes up, landowning becomes more expensive. Thus, again, as we know the trends of money goes, it's more likely that only white people can afford the shit.
Okay, but
you look flustered.
I'm a little flustered only because I feel like prices go up regardless. Every year, taxes go up,
Absolutely.
money goes up, finances go up.
I want to make
but hold on. I don't really want to say that it's just white people. If
No, it's
like,
not.
Other
It's not.
people who are wealthy
And
can
in
do
fact,
this too.
It can be completely argued that there's multiple angles to this gentrification thing. And I don't want to even say that I'm for or against it. I just noticed that it's happening where I grew up, and I've seen the changes in my neighborhood.
Oh, for sure. Me too. I go back to when I was my old houses when I was young. And
I just
the
wanted to
parks are
understand it
different. The way the way the area looks different.
Like,
You know what I learned?
No.
You know what a hipster cube is?
No.
A hipster cube, actually, I sent you a photo today, which we will present right now. That right there is a hipster cube. It is a small little house that is in a square shape, and it's this new modern trend that's going on. It's the new modern look for houses that millennials are looking into and that our generation wants to have.
Well, to be fair, I don't want a house at all, so I don't even fit in that generation.
What do you want?
I want to travel, ultimately. I mean, I'm doing all this stuff now on my, like, little home studio, sure, but this is all portable shit. It's not like it's fixed. And,
True. Get yourself a nice little RV.
I'd like to have an office and a place to create one day, like a studio, like a real one, or, like, have a house out in the woods with a studio in it, but I don't really desire to own a home because I want to be around. I want to be traveling. I want to be going about in this. But then I realized that I'm certain that the girlfriend has opinions that are not mine, and I'll lose. So it doesn't really matter what I want long run, dude.
So let me ask you this question: when you think about getting a home, right?
I don't, but let's
hypothetically, if you were thinking about getting a home, do you feel like that makes you have to settle down as a community? Because a lot of this gentrification issue is also, I feel people are talking about the community. Like, it changes the community because people are changing in locals.
Let's talk about how it changes the community, right? So, on a property value front, I read an interesting article in some little local newspaper, like paper print. I can't even I'd have to go find a copy and take a literal picture to show you.
Like hit up the local library.
It was describing how the area of Montreal West, how they had like a 28% increase in property value.
Oh shit!
Based on valuations of houses and blah blah. Anyway, all I have to say is that this whole area has been undergoing, to a degree or another, a gentrification process. So what we've seen in the community is the older, shittier restaurants get replaced with newer, chicer, more expensive restaurants. Now, we're talking about a difference of like $8 meals to like $11, $12 meals.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't sound like an insane amount of money, right?
But in total, the whole price of the meal goes up.
And if you stack it by like 3-4 people for a family situation, it changes, right?
8
so
times
what
4,
ends up
11 times
then
4.
Is more chic in certain types of people. And let's say the types of people who venture to the area change, and it's often going to be younger, more student, more hipstery types, more artisty types.
Okay, but that's not. But I just want to state that it's not based on right, because there is taking Montreal itself. We are very multicultural.
The reason color comes into it is because in a lot of places where gentrification happens, that's not such a diverse ethnic place like Montreal.
Chicago.
They're all pretty black. So they're all pretty black hoods, and yes, Latinos and blah blah blah. Sure, but let's say they're all hood. They're all like the types of places all the rappers come from. And if you really consider it like that, then it's not so much that it's a black and white thing. It's that the vast majority of the black people who live in these neighborhoods are poor, and they're the victims of what happens on the downsides of gentrification. Mm-hmm. So if we talk about the changes that happen to a community, for one thing, people start leaving. Displacement is the term of it. Now, this is more of a, from what I can tell, a lot of the numbers show that there's not really a huge correlation between displacement and gentrification, and I don't have enough information.
Well,
I don't have enough information here.
Okay, so I was watching up some videos.
I have a link to a couple of articles and shit below, and one of them kind of looks at the numbers behind displacement.
All right, well, I'll actually send me that link. I will check it out a little later. But I was watching some videos today, and people were saying that they're leaving for one of two reasons. One, it's simply because that rent is going up. The prices on rent for restaurants, for locations of just stores and shops, or even rent for housings, that they're going up, and that it's causing them to move out because they can't afford to pay that rent. But on top of that, they don't even feel like it's their own community anymore. For example, places like Chicago and Detroit, first of all, it was predominantly black culture, black cities, and that's what it was. Now, when gentrification happened, a lot of white culture came in, and white race and white colored folk came in, and it started making black folk feel like, well, this isn't where my hood anymore, my area, my territory, which does play a role in
the displacement.
Right.
And but the thing is from what I understand, I was looking at some of these maps. Displacement happens more in the communities that are not being gentrified, surrounded by areas that are being gentrified.
I'm confused.
Okay, so let's say you have all these neighborhoods over here.
All right.
All of these make a circle like this around, just to be simple.
Yeah.
And all of that's being gentrified. And then this one kind of spot in the middle is not being gentrified.
So everything exterior of the middle city.
Yeah, because gentrification doesn't happen literally everywhere. There are conditions to make it good. There are places where it can happen.
Well, I mean, like it's based on I feel like somewhat it's based on visual appearance.
Well,
like
no.
if you have a park that looks very
like
modern,
how much the current market value is, like there's so many factors that go into it. Like it's like a list of it's like property value, the types of people that live there, the gross domestic product, how much
demand
they make.
Actually, what the clientele
then
demands.
There's the random size of, is this place all of a sudden going to get popular, and can we make it popular, the marketing behind it, and so a whole bunch of decisions get made, and then this area gets gentrified, and then this one's gentrified even further, and so it kind of is like corner by corner, section by section, they change the neighborhoods.
And that's basically what it is. It's changing. It's
right.
not. I feel like there's
the displacement occurs.
You know what it was?
So just to go on, the displacement occurs more in the areas that are not being gentrified, that are surrounded by gentrification, because they're not getting the benefits of gentrification, but they're kind of getting all the downside, like the cultural changes.
You know what
the local
bothers me?
What?
The fact that they use gentrification as this facade, fancy fucking word for adaptation.
So, like, what do you mean by adaptation? I just want to understand before we discuss it. Explain it to the people, too.
Not a problem. So today, like I said, I was watching some videos on gentrification, and certain documentaries and certain videos that I watched, there was people speaking about how this whole idea of gentrification is to also help the older folk, and I don't mean age-wise. I mean just older folk, as in the people who have already been there been in the city or town for a certain amount of time in X, Y, Z, and to help them adapt to modern trends and modern ways. Although my problem is how are you supposed to help somebody adapt to the modern ways when your modern ways is costing $3, $4, $5 more than they can afford
I would
already?
like to look into that a little more. So, when you first look at gentrification on YouTube, when you first Google it, the SEO value is highly favoring the gentrification is evil stance. So
Okay.
most of the content you're going to find right away, just based on the keyword gentrification,
Is
is
probably
like
negative.
all the rage and the outrage and all the problems with it. And apparently the media favors this this story. And as we've talked about, like in the fake news TI episode, whatever gets clicks is going to sell. And when I looked at some of the studies and the numbers related to it, again, I barely touched it. It was really right before the episode I even considered to
It was a
look
quick
at the.
pick.
No, it wasn't that. We've had gentrification for a bit, so I was ready to like talk about how evil it was, and I was all hyped up to go in a certain direction. And then I started reading a couple of things, and as Chris got here even to start recording, I was still in the middle of reading this shit because I realized I may have been a little hasty and a little emotional.
A little one-sided.
Let's say a little emotional in my reaction is what I was
Okay.
hoping to say. And so when we look at what happens, right? So they started looking at the neighborhoods. The reason why gentrification is not necessarily a problem, and let's say how it works in most places, and there are places where it's exploited and it's real bad, and that the government doesn't adapt to the situation as it's happening. And so when it's good, gentrification does in fact bring in a whole slew of money with these people into the neighborhood. And because all that money comes into the neighborhood, more opportunity appears. So what that really translates to is that poor kid who finishes high school or is 16 and wants to go get a job, there is actually a clean job for him to go because now there's like a Starbucks or an A&W or this or that. And
Hold on. Wait.
And so a lot of the numbers are, and this is based off of people who've like actual empirical peer-reviewed kind of studies and shit,
Right.
have shown that the people who are in the neighborhoods, not the surrounding ones I mentioned earlier, but in the gentrified areas, actually tend to benefit, and everybody across the board gets more money. In fact, to a point where displacement is less than it was before gentrification actually happened. In
All right.
9 out of 10 areas where it's happening. So based on that, it looks like it's really bad in a few spots, but in most cases it seems to be helping. And in the places where it hasn't happened yet, that's where it's the worst.
Okay. So since you seem to have numbers and answers to this.
Well, I've started looking at numbers and I'm kind of just assessing what I quickly learned.
Right. With what you said earlier, the kid who decides to, he doesn't make it through school, he has to drop out or
I
whatnot.
never said doesn't make it through school. I said he's 16. I want to clarify. He's just 16. Let's say he's in high school. He's 16.
Okay, fine.
He wants to go work at A&W.
Even with that.
Now he can.
In today's society, even for me, with somebody who has experience and I've worked in call centers, I've worked in hotels, I have a good background for work experience, and it's hard for me to get a job.
No,
right.
I want to counter that. It's hard for you to get a job that's paying a middle class salary. You are actually employed the whole time I've known you. You recently just got another job and it was pretty fucking easy.
Fair.
And the money's okay.
Right.
Now, the money's not great.
Not to say that it's not.
Let me just put it into perspective. So before gentrification would have happened, this kid would just not have had the opportunity to work at A&W.
Right, but hold on. What I
just say so the comparison point is now imagine you're coming from a point where there is no job, none. You just can't work.
Okay.
And now A&W shows up.
So at least it gives me, and I understand where it benefits me, so at least it gives me a way to have a job and make money and be part of society. Great. But my only confusion and my question is that nowadays, if you don't have experience or work experience, you don't really get jobs. And it's starting to happen in places like A&W and Starbucks. So how is Mr. 16-year-old supposed to go out in this gentrified world
that 16-year-old is probably now going to be going to school with kids who are coming from different backgrounds. So they start more YouTube channels, and you're seeing it. More and more people of all diversities, backgrounds are taking on the internet in entirely different ways. Then there's the cultural exposure. Look, as much
Long live the power of the web.
So let's say, in my opinion, globalization is dope. It's what's going to allow us to really pursue anything. It's what's going to transcend YouTube. You think YouTube is where we're going to get profit? No. YouTube is a platform right now to host this content, and I would love to make ad money, sure, but based on the current trends of YouTube ad money, it's not even a realistic or viable thing.
Really?
Now that there's some scary stuff happening, we can get into it another time.
Yeah, that's another Headspace podcast.
But like, the thing about gentrification is that there are some really scary sides to it. So let's say all of this stuff is happening and evil landlords are coming in and they are kicking people out forcefully, and there are certain states where the rental laws really fucking suck. And in those places, gentrification can be a real bad thing. And without proper zoning control, without proper regulations to ensure that the citizens who are there are able to take part of the gentrification process. So look, it's one thing to just set up shop, but then you have to set up shop and keep in mind of how are we going to make sure that everybody benefits.
Well, what do you think about work housing?
Clarify.
Well, I was like, again, somebody mentioned that they were demanding for work housing, which the idea is anybody who's capable of working a full 35, 37, 40-hour week is eligible and allowed to be housed and whatever, so that even though it's like a little expensive, he still has a right to an apartment somewhere and not be forced to be homeless or move.
Who pays for that?
Unfortunately, that was not mentioned.
Probably tax monies, and that's an interesting idea, but it kind of goes then, what if that person is able-bodied and doesn't want to work? I don't know how that really impacts gentrification.
Right,
it might be a solution for it. Now, it comes with risk. Like, I know in Montreal, like, certain parts of the city, like Bay, are losing their low-income housing subsidies because the landlords have increased the property value to a point where it could be considered more luxury. And so there's all this scary stuff, but let's be real. If in Bay all of a sudden 8 more stores open and like all of a sudden everybody there who didn't have a job could go work minimum wage, so there's more money in the neighborhood, and blah blah blah, it kind of just spirals, and that's the idea. So with proper paying attention and regulation, which obviously we don't have, our governments are fucked and the news is all fucked up and everything's kind of wonky with Trump.
Everything's
but we're just talking about
wonky.
Gentrification right now. And so, I mean, the part that really baffles me is where the ego gets involved. And one of the things where the displacement issue comes in is that people see that their community is changing, so they leave based on the fact that it's changing.
And that's a little scary.
And that just goes to show to me that it might not be that gentrification is so much of an issue if people cannot stay in their neighborhoods. It might be that they simply don't want to. The way at least it works in Montreal is if you don't leave your apartment, like I was describing earlier, there is a maximum amount. And let's pretend that life goes relatively okay for most people, and even the shitty versions of most people, it's still good enough that you can afford $20 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So you never really have to leave wherever the fuck you are, and it's probably going to be more expensive to leave. And one of the things I came across was this woman saying one of the problems is that when, let's say it was about a black community, so when black families do end up having the wealth to actually leave, if more of them were to stay and then invest in their own communities and buy up those lands themselves, and rather than letting the hipsters come in and do it, if more people of means in those communities were to actually do it themselves and build up the community, it would be a way to counter the, let's say, cultural appropriation.
I still feel like we're separated, though. I feel like it shouldn't be like just black or white.
Well,
I feel like it should be like everybody just build the community together.
It's not about black and white. Now it's more a matter of rich and poor. And rich, poor, and poor people have very different cultures and very different things. So
fair.
IKEA might not be as exciting for somebody from the hood as it is for, like, university white girls.
No, but allowing IKEA to be somewhere close to the hood and offered to them might allow them to have their curiosity sparked to be like, hey, let me go try this out.
How about that? What if they can't afford the $400 bookcase or their exorbitantly expensive stuff? So the issue is, and the fear would be then, because that IKEA opened, a lesser, something else might not be there. Or then you have the parts where the local stores get bought up by chains and more stuff changes. And I don't know. At the end of the day, what seems to be happening is it's a lot of fear, a lot of pushing of ideas, and I would like to revisit this subject. I don't have enough information. I just have enough information to know that I was initially hasty in my opinions on what was happening with gentrification, and it might be that there is some serious value to it for the future of the world. And if, let's say, I come into this community now, and this is kind of how I wanted to end the part of gentrification, a little bit of what I can do, because I feel like maybe I'm part of this problem. So now if I make all my money here, and I stick around in this hood, and I save money on rent by not living somewhere else, and 3-4 years goes by, I increase my wealth in a good sense, and I'm actually doing much better. If I were to then take some of that money and throw it back into this community, and as I increase and I come back here and I build a something, I don't know, I invest in a program, I do something to help the community, then my gentrification isn't a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if I come into this community and I take from it and I give nothing back. And I think more people need to just be considerate of how of building a community. And I guess it's going to be a common theme of more and more of the stuff we do. I really believe in this. And so I don't know if gentrification is evil. I know it can be.
It's a very, very touchy thing to get onto because I feel very neutral about it, to be honest. I believe in change. I like the concept of change, but I don't think that people deserve to be run out of their houses.
They're not being ran out, is what the numbers are saying.
I know that. I know that they're choosing to leave.
With obvious exceptions, I don't know where they are, and when we revisit the subject, I hope to be better informed with more specifics. But the fact is, it seems to be that there are some really bad horror stories and some really great stories mixed in, and in most cases, all it does is seem to increase the value of the community, which means more money in the community, which means more people have opportunities to earn. Now, the fact that AI is going to automate all the jobs is just neither here nor there, and the fact that it's getting harder to find jobs is a completely different issue and shouldn't be confused with the impact of gentrification over time.
We told you.
Relax. Some stuff I've seen is pretty fascinating. I know I read an article that about 1/3 of malls in the States are going to close, and stuff's going to change, but you got a few years left. I digress. I don't want to drag this on. With Daemon here, we probably have another 20 minutes in, so sorry, Daemon is going to make this a shorter headspace. She really feels bad, and she really wants to be here, and she was actually she's the one who suggested Rick Ross, so just so you guys know.
Cheats exist. We can play games. I run this monopoly on your promotional state.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we're talking about Ricky Ross, not like the great coke dealer of the 80s who has many a documentary about him. Truly fascinating cat, made a lot of money, went to jail. While in jail, Rick Ross appeared. You know who Rick Ross is, right?
Yep.
And then, fun fact, the real Rick Ross tried to sue this Rick Ross for defamation of character, but the courts were like, bro, you were a coke dealer, get the fuck out. That ended, but he released the album Rather You Than Me. What was it?
Bro, you done stole my thunder.
Fuck off. It's the 17th of March 2017 this came out. The day before Drake. So you know we were reviewing Drake. We weren't really paying attention to this, but nothing truly exciting came out this week in music. What was it, Trey Songs or
radio music?
Yeah, so we decided to jump on Rick Ross because, controversy in the rap world. Rick Ross fired shots at Birdman, and I was like, oh, well, that's not boring. Let's look into it. And so here we are. What are your impressions on Rick Ross? Do you like the dude?
Nope.
I have to admit that I don't like him much, mostly because of the rape lyrics of the You Ain't Even Know It song, and it really bothered me.
That is one reason, but I've just never really liked Rick Ross ever. I don't like the way there's certain songs he's got a nice flow to it, he's got a nice rhyme scheme, but just on a general, his flow, I just don't like it.
Well, apparently he's a boss guy. I once had somebody tell me that the reason Rick Ross is famous is because literally everything he says is boss lyrics, and it's all sorts of stuff like photographs of dope boys, that's all they're taking. Like, he basically pictures he's the dopest shit in the world, and every lyric reflects that, and suppose that's the character he's created.
Okay, but I'm sorry. Even in Montreal, everybody thinks they're the dopest fucking person in the world.
That's like a problem of whatever. But Rick Ross came out and he just did it, and he's the big fat black guy there. Had all the tattoos. His shirts were off in all his videos. I never really liked him because I've never really been into rap that glorifies coke dealing, and that's just a personal thing. On that note, I never listened to a Rick Ross album before this one. I did like Every Day I'm Hustling. I kind of like the Bugatti song, and I know he's on it. And I have to admit that as a artist, his team is pretty powerful. He's got Meeky on the team, and who doesn't like Meeky?
Me.
Meeky's grown on me. I'm on Team Meek Mill. That's all I'm saying. And man, it was the first time I've done this kind of music.
Dude,
man.
it's an odd album.
Is it trap? Like, is it supposed to be?
It's okay. So Rick Ross is like known for making like hard, heavy, like get out of my face, I'll fuck you up type music. You know, it's drug dealing, big money, stuff like that. But there's always a side to Rick Ross that is very like smooth, kind of like to the ladies, like sensual. I'm a fuck you, baby girl. I got you. You know,
Put
like
a Molly up in her champagne.
well, you know, fuck it.
Know. So
what do you
did
think of the title, Rather You Than Me?
It's petty, actually.
Really?
It's kind of like, well, the kind of attitude of Rather You Than Me is not mature, right? So the idea here is if something happens that's bad, he'd rather it happen to them than him, so fuck it. Rather than trying to absolve the situation or find a proactive, happy solution where nobody gets hurt, Rick Ross takes a passive, rather you than me kind of attitude. So I thought it was kind of petty. And it matches the fucking cover. Look, he's like, what, 40? He's fucking old. He's just there with his crown on his head. In no fucking universe is Rick Ross the crown.
It's too much. It's too much, Ricky. And
the weed smoke coming out of his mouth there in the cover. And like, what is it, graffiti?
You know what? It's like, okay, did you grow out of 2015? Did you grow out of...
It's not even grown to 2015.
No,
Look, part of this album, he seems to have this reflective tone, but it's really just like, dude, everybody knows you're fake at this point, right? Like, Rick Ross was never really Rick Ross. Rick Ross was a different person. Every time I heard him rap about selling crack, you know, it's just an image, a story he created and fabricated. And his net worth, just before we go into this, the entire whatever, is $25 million. Like, yes, he's rich, but he's just not that rich for the level of arrogance he displays. And his label's just not actually that good if you really look at the numbers and the metrics. So it's kind of like when Fat Joe and Remy Ma were talking about being Pablo, and you look them up and you're like, you wish you were Pablo. I look at this cover and I'm like, you're not that. You can't even afford to live that life for like 5 minutes, man. Like, for real, his $25 million would disappear if he really tried to ball as lavishly as he described. Because anyone who understands the macro level of economics, man, like, look, you can have a few cars and shit, but if you really live that kind of lavish lifestyle and you're not raking in ways to double and invest to the next level, and you really are just blowing it on fucking cocaine and shit, it's like, okay, nah, that's why you're only at 25 million, whereas even fucking Soulja Boy clocked 9 figures. So I don't know, man. Ringtone money or coke? Seems to be that there's a better strategy out there.
All right. Let's just fucking jump right into this album. Let's get talking to it.
Apple of my eye opens this fucking album.
Running down the nigga face in a room full of failures. I feel out of place. Still sleeping on the floor when you deserve better. Got you reeking through the cold even in warm weather.
All right, Chris, talk your shit. Go ahead. Destroy this beautiful song.
No. Actually, the song was really, really produced well. It was really good. I liked most of it. I didn't really feel Rick Ross's vibe, to be real with you. Okay, so let's discuss this. I like the message and the story of family and the struggle that he went through, and that, you know, you always got to look out for family and be strong and be there. I totally respect that, and I was like, all right, yo, you're real. That's good. That's awesome. But as I mentioned a little earlier, I don't really like the way he rhymes his patterns. Rhymes his words. I don't like how he sometimes goes on like a 2-bar rhyme scheme and then just throws some random word in there, and I'm just like, it throws me off, and I've never liked him for that. Like, that is one.
Well, I had to say his flow is tight as fuck. Like, I can't, like, the way I see it is if a rapper can deliver extra syllables and contradicting flows in ways that are interesting and not go off beat, that's excellent writing, and I try to do that all the time. And Rick Ross is just slower. He doesn't really rap fast. He just goes at this hogo bogo bogo hogo ho, whatever, and his whole flow will be like that, dropping.
Never really changes, to tell you the truth.
That's not true. It's got versatility to it. I have to give him his credit. It's kind of a constant whatever, but it's not like the trappy or rapper type mumble rap guys where it really doesn't change and it's just the same kind of bullshit. Rick Ross is clear as fuck, man. I had to give him credit. I could understand the entire album practically without needing to read lyrics, right? And so he delivers every bar with a sense of power, like this knowledge, like I know. And I kind of recognize this boss mentality he's talking about now. I don't believe Rick Ross is really a boss, but I think he understands the mentality of being a boss.
Well, granted, but I do think, again, like, the song is really produced well.
This is hype, man. That girl's amazing sounding. It was a great reprise from Rick Ross's verses.
For sure. What did you give the song?
Hold on, man. And even to, like, the message, I just got to point out this lyric that really struck me. Because you're right, I'm happy Donald Trump became the president because we got to destroy before we elevate, etc. And I really appreciate the sentiment. It's actually one of the first thoughts I had when Donald Trump got elected is, I guess now everyone will have to admit America is what it is. And the fact that, weirdly enough, me and Rick Ross could come to a similar idea in the middle of this song was a highly unexpected experience.
Well, I mean, music touches all.
Yeah, but it's Rick Ross, right? It's like when a guy like him actually has political messages laced into his music that makes sense. It's not so much music touches at all. We're talking about, like, this guy's a capitalist whore. This guy just tries to make money. And the fact that even Rick Ross is dropping this kind of thing transcends.
Well, I mean, it's also kind of like the newest trend, right? Like, lately, ever since we've been doing the podcast, a lot of the albums we've been hearing have been talking about Donald Trump and politics.
Dude, it's not a trend. A trend is like people not talking about politics or like him rapping about being a coke dealer was a trend.
All right.
But the part where we're dealing with real life issues, and if you actually follow what's going on out there, it's more like these people are actually talking about real issues, and it's granted it's mixed into the middle of a bunch of shit, but the fact that these bars are appearing even on Rick Ross is pretty interesting to me. I digress. 4 on 5.
Straight up, 4 on 5.
A lot of this album got that mark. It was, I don't know, it was well made. But let's talk about Santorini, Greece.
Hey, yo, never had my teeth cleaned. Restricted license, but I'm so divisive. I know the snipers and I flow the nicest. Fresher than Groovy Lou at a...
I fucking did not like this song. Like, it was
Why
so
not?
The beat was slow and had annoying sounds in it. It was like Rick Ross was so slow. All he did was brag about some successes of his life and create this fucking fantasy world that was boring, man. It was like,
granted, it did sound very similar to the first intro song. But although I actually really kind of liked it, it was smoother. And this is where I can agree with you that he was pretty clear.
This did not sound at all like the last song. This song
it was smooth. It was very jazz feely.
The other song had like a harsher, more fluid tone to it. This song was
Really?
just like lazy, like, I'm the best. I'm the best. It was like a poorly written brag rap song. In my opinion.
You think it would be a B-side?
I don't. I think it's what Rick Ross is. This is that shit. He's some Scarface mafiosa. Go out there. I'm the best. I've taken over. I got all these things now.
Clearly, you didn't like it. Okay.
Like, I don't know, man. It's just this was a boring song. I gave it a 3 on 5. It had good production value, but
what do you think? What do you think could have been added to the song?
Like rapping that had anything to it. Look, man, it was just boring. Like there's no real energy to it. He didn't sound like he tried very hard. He just kind of bragged about all the stuff. I'm certain that if you go over his entire discography, he was bragging about it back when he first came out, and it's the same type of shit, man. And it's like
basically a repeat.
Whereas the last song showed this mental growth and awareness and appreciation for life, this kind of didn't have that, and it was an annoying beat. I did not like the beat at all.
Actually, I really liked the beat. I really liked it. It was kind of this smooth, jazzy feel to it. And to be real, I did give the song a 4 on 5. It would have got, I think if you want to think about it this way, it would have got a 5 on 5. But I wrote, again, Ross's lyrics sometimes, I have trouble.
They were fucking trash, man.
But, like, I did clearly understand him on this track. And
nah, it was boring.
I like the fact that he was going slow. And I like the fact that it was a little different from what I'm used for Ross.
This is exactly what I was expecting for Ross. Boring ass slow shit. Anyway, what'd you give it?
4 on 5.
fuck that song. Anyway, I like the next song a lot better. Idols Become Rivals, featuring Chris Rock. Huh?
I grew up on that cash money. Bling bling was well known to flash money. Hit the liquor store after my Vic authority. Quick to switch your bitch up, pick up me a thicker shorty.
Idols become rivals. God damn. What do you think?
Chris Rock was kind of annoying. I get it. He's there to
Thank
be like,
you.
Rick Ross is cool. Okay, fine. We moved on though, and the song's interesting, right? Because it's a direct shot at Birdman. No fucking around.
Yeah, no, literally.
And just describing how he doesn't pay his beat makers and kind of outlining a lot of the bullshit that even down to fucking over DJ Khaled, fucking over Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne was appreciative of the song. I like the beat. I like the flow-ish. I found the first two verses kind of dry, but the third verse really attacked the music industry in a cool way, and I respected this song more than I really liked it. He gets a 4 on 5. Like, honestly, this is not going to be my most full review. I feel almost the same way about most of these songs. I like this beat more. Rick Ross is kind of static, but the premise of the song is really fucking cool. Aaron.
Look, I gave the same grading, a 4 on 5. The beat's pretty cool. The message behind the song, you know what? I like to feel that what they're saying is somewhat true, so I guess I may have learned a lot about Birdman that I didn't know.
Let's say everything that I understand of the story is pretty much what I've seen floating around news-wise over the last few years.
So I learned something new today. I'm going to check that off on my little Habitica thing. That's going to be super cool. But, no, look, the song's really dope, but there's really nothing new, but objectively it's a 4 on 5.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, this is the kind of shit where I don't actually have to be drunk to this. I just have to be in the right environment for Rick Ross to come on and everybody gets hyped up. So it's a good hype up feel. And again, I appreciate the realness. So
all right, let's not get lost in the trap. It's okay.
No, listen. We're talking about the trap.
Oh.
Trap. So it's got a chorus that I both like and hate.
I hate the fucking chorus.
I mean, it's just like, I'm a da ba da ba.
Trap. Like, there's nothing to it. I didn't like the chorus.
Okay, I thought it was a standard trap chorus. It is what it is. It's okay. It's catchy. It's a single, or not a single. Wikipedia doesn't say it's a single, but it's got a video. That sounds like a promotional release. Young Thug and Wale are on it.
That's the only good part. Listen,
enough,
Rick.
Young Thug sounded sick.
Yo, are you off lean? Are you off lean yet?
He's not as auto-tuned.
No, he's on like that light
he's
shit.
kind of like actually just trying to rap more, and I don't like what he raps about.
Straight up, the verse was kind of whack. I read the lyrics.
Thuggas or Rick
Young.
Ross?
Okay, actually, first of all, let's break it down. Rick Ross, your verse was shit.
Nah, Rick Ross was fine. It was
I was like exactly why it was
Cookie
shit. There was
shit.
nothing to it. But and then Young Thug comes in, and I was like, okay, here we go, another Thugga. And then for me, Thugga was like the
it was like
point.
the same thing like on the Drake album.
But you know what it is?
Surprising.
No, it was surprising, but his flow. I don't care what he said. What he said was completely stupid. He made a bunch of dumb things, but his flow was really on point. And Wale
like
gave another spin to the track.
Oh, Wale sucked.
No, Wale was
Here's
better.
The problem with
Wale was better than Rick Ross on this fucking song.
Here's the problem with Wale. Wale is the kind of guy, and this is what I took from this song, that wants to hang out with all the bad kids and be like, well, I'm not really a bad kid. I have the moral high ground. I'm the nice one. I'm the Nas in this hood, you know? And you know what? I've seen a lot of dudes.
Christ, everybody wants to be Nas in this hood.
But I've seen a lot of like things talking about Wale being like upset that people don't like him and his fans aren't popping and blah 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 blah. Honestly, if this is the second Wale verse I've ever heard, this is an absolutely shit understanding of what Wale is. You actually just sound like a useless guy. And let me put it to you like this, Wale. You may not be a trapper, but if you nickel and dime it, you may as well be. You're not better than them. So shut the fuck up, you self-righteous prick. I am so unhappy with Wale on this song. However, the song is hype as fuck otherwise. 4 on 5. I am okay with Ricky. Look,
4 on 5.
We have to understand that this is what Rick Ross does. He proceeds to write boss-ass bars, and he delivers them in almost the same flow over different beats. And what I came to realize is this album has a lot of features because Rick Ross pops only with a lot of features. He cannot hold his own on songs by himself. The songs he was alone were not as good as when he had other friends involved.
That's okay. You gave it a 4 on 5?
I did.
I gave it a 4 on 5. Let's move on to Dead Presidents.
Presidents, dead presidents, dead presidents, hit them dead presidents. Let's go to war, you know, all my little niggas.
I just gotta say, I think Jeezy could say just about anything at all, and I would listen to it with a smile on my face.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's not on one of those mixtapes with Gangsta Grizzle all over it, I think I can handle it a bit better. But, like, I don't know, man. When I get a Jeezy jam on, that really hits me right. Even when he says shit like, this'll be the realest shit I never wrote, which I get he's trying to say he freestyled, but really just makes it sound like you're biting bars, bro. I digress. Jeezy was on this. Yo Gotti kind of had a little spot on the chorus. Future showed us that when he is out of town, he does stick to the lighter drugs and was more coherent in this verse.
Still shit.
Not shit. I kind of
It was total shit. I did not enjoy Future's verse. Future has good bars. Future's got good bars and good verses on certain tracks. This particular track
was amazing.
It was stupid. I was
track,
like,
man.
Future, why?
Future
Why the hell can you fucking people not just have the proper rhyme schemes? Why you gotta go throw in other fucking words that don't rhyme?
The proper rhyme schemes, as you define it, I completely think that what they're doing is actually advancing the hip-hop art form, and that by sticking in the box, you're going into this idea that rap doesn't change. Now, if Future's flow is fucking tight. I did not like the auto-tune on Future, and I wish he didn't rely on it, and it was sick, man. He adds something to it, whereas Rick Ross kind of has a more static flow, and it's boring, and in fact, Tech Nine's flow has gotten to a point where it's so predictably boring that I find like what Future did was more impressive than anything I've heard of Tech Nine in the last couple of years.
Fine.
Because it takes existing paradigms and fucks your head up with it. Now, if that's not what Tech Nine did that got him famous in the first place, I don't really understand what you're supposed to do to advance the craft anymore. I don't know. That's just how.
All right.
No, but like the song is good. The beat is fucking great.
No, the beat is good. No, objectively, the song is good. I gave it a 4 on 5. But don't think that I made it wrong.
I just think that I think that it's confusing to me that because the flow isn't predictable, you don't like it. Because that's what I'm hearing you say.
I guess just because I'm just so accustomed to a certain. I just don't like the way it sounds sometimes. I like how rappers mix match certain words and play the certain words.
Can you give an example of how Future failed to meet your expectations?
Well, I've already stated that I hate the repetition. So when he goes, what is that first line?
I don't know.
Something money, I make blood money. And I'm like, okay, you rhyme money with money. But thank you.
But
like,
there's a certain art to it across the board. In all genres of music, we're done right. It's sick, and I don't hate it. Now, you want to talk about lazy, talk about every damn hustling where Rick Ross ended every bar of a fucking half of a verse. So, 22, 222, like that's lazy. But even I've been really fucking a lot with writing where it'll be like morning and then morning of, and then I'll try to fuck around with that because there is a lot of fun artistic value in playing with that. It's a deeper level of poetry. It's an entire style of writing. It might not be the standard prose of hip hop, but that doesn't actually make it a worse construction. It's just different, right? I want to just put that point across because I think part of the fun of these debates is to challenge it because there is somebody right there at home going, fuck Future for that reason. Now, I'm saying fuck Future for his auto-tune, and he tried harder on this verse. Again, his effort. It didn't sound like the Hendrix album where it sounded like he was leaned out and out of it. Nah, it sounded like he was focused and he was actually trying to keep up with these real gangsters like Jeezy and Yo Gotti. Jeezy sounded sick. I really like this hook. This is one of the nicer hooks on the album. Fuck, what did the hook say? Dead presidents, dead to dead presidents, Fed sentences, Fed for Fed sentences. You're guilty until you're proven innocent. And again, some real political themes mixed up in this shit. And they address, I don't know, I fucking really dug this. 4 on 5 for me.
No, straight up. The song's a 4 on 5. It's fucking deep. But
then I just to this next piece of shit on this album. Shit on my dick.
Donkey get some pillar seats. Fucking Bean Projects is where the killers be. Can't be talking all louder, niggas getting shot. Homicide died in the line of hip hop.
So I just want to state, Gucci did well. I never really liked Gucci in general.
Gucci, hold on. To be fair, since Gucci's got out of jail, he allegedly doesn't do drugs anymore. And I want to say he does sound sober still, and he does sound clear.
But he did really well, and unfortunately, I was bored by Rick Ross's verse on this. I was like, nothing new, nothing changed. Good job, thank you, next. And then Gucci comes on, and at first I was like, wait, is that? No, I can't. And then there's that Gucci, or whatever the fuck it is on the song, and it was like, okay, yeah, and that's what came and saved the day. It was very energetic. It was energetic, even if Rick Ross kind of sounds boring. But I gave it a 4 on 5. It was fucking cool.
I fucking didn't like Gucci. I didn't like Ricky on this. The beat was kind of bland. The beat was about the only reason it didn't get a 1, but I gave this shit a 2. This song was fucking
Jesus.
There's literally nothing here. Like, he said, while I was listening to Rick Ross's verse, he said that Maybach is the best, or worth the most record label, however you worded it. I Googled it. $25 million, whatever it is. It's just not the best. I looked at every conceivable metric for his group, and I'm sorry, Ricky Ross, but you directly tried to say here that your group is that good, and it's just empirically not, sir. Let me put it to you like this. Interscope Records is your competition in this type of shit, in my opinion. Okay, let's be more realistic. Bad Boy. P. Diddy is everything you wish you were. He's not good either, but he's everything you wish you were. So I couldn't get past that shit when Rick Ross just sounds fake like that. Gucci just had nothing of value to me. 2 on 5. Bah.
That's all right. So let's move on to the next song. I think she likes me.
Off the album and had a really boring music video. I mean, the other music video was for the other side. Fucking boring. It's just
No,
standard
the entire song
shit.
was boring. It was the beat was
the one where the
produced
girls
nice.
were rubbing boobies, and my girlfriend was sitting there. She's like, "Is this softcore porn?" I'm like, whatever. It wasn't interesting. He's lost weight, I see. He's not quite the fat.
No, he's not big boy no more.
Otherwise, it's a really fucking boring song. I was hoping for more of the Ty Dolla Sign Ein or whatever, but
At least a verse maybe or something. But I just gave it a straight 3.
Floated on the chorus. It was a 3. It was exactly what it was supposed to be. I didn't really enjoy it. I don't have anything more to say. Fuck it. I know this is short. Sorry. Anyway. Powers that be. Next song.
When the war beacon scores, they continue to fall. Corner stores, way to uphold all these wonderful laws. So much violence in the street, ask the powers that be. Kiss my daughter on the cheek and them strapped ass.
Apparently Nas showed up on
Well,
the
look
album,
at that.
and Nas is on this. This song is pretty cool. It was a little more, it was a little like Ross tried
A
harder.
little more real.
Like Ross tried. He rapped in a very more Tupac-esque flow, which I appreciated. He came at it with more strength. The lyrics or whatever, it's the same kind of Rick Ross.
It's the same Rick
Ross
Ross
is
lyrics, but it's just it's presented differently.
I feel like he's a very misguided man. Like, at a certain point, he tries really hard to, like, understand life, but he knows he's a sinner. But rather than ever really trying to give up his bad ways or anything, he's just chosen to accept that they're part of him.
Well, you gotta make money somehow,
but then
right?
He also seems to have some, like, conscience that wants him to, like, feel like he should say things like, I believe in God, and everybody needs to believe. I don't know, this might not be the God song. One of them was fucking a God song. And it was just weird hearing it because of who Rick Ross is. And it's like, you really don't want to change. And that's how I felt. It's like you talk a lot about redemption and growth, but then you make it look like you're kind of half-assed. You're sitting on the edge. You say you want to do a lot of things, and nothing's really following up.
Like teeter-totting on both fucking sides. But realistically, the song's just kind of meh.
And Nas's verse is okay, but I don't actually think Nas is really trying that hard. And it might be called a high verse, but really it's the beat, man. The beat fucking saves this song. No, look, I want to say I gave this a 5.
You gave it a 5? I give it a 4 on 5.
I give it a 5, man. Nas killed it. I disagree. Nas actually did do nice.
Nas saved it from being a 3.
See, I was wrong. I was thinking about other Nas features I'd heard recently today. But no, this one, Nas actually did really well. The beat is really hype. And Rick Ross doesn't suck. He tried really hard, and maybe it's just relatively speaking, it was nice to appreciate that effort, but it's a 5. It is the right combination, and even with Chris Rock being drunk at the beginning, kind of annoying, but I get it. He's there to validate Rick Ross. He's Rick Ross's favorite rapper, or Rick Ross's Chris Rock's favorite rapper. So fuck it. Anyway, so you said you give it a 4 on 5.
Give it a 4 on 5.
Well, the game ain't based on sympathy.
Invading the ghettos, moving me elsewhere. Daddy didn't see pension, they took his health care. Affordable housing, they fed us welfare. Showed us Tony Montana, teachers.
Real, this could have been a second song just over again. Rick Ross kind of, look, it's smooth, and Rick Ross is smooth, and it's a little better than that one, but I feel like there's really nothing to this track. It was hard for me to listen to. I gave it a 3 on 5. It's got that jazzy infused beat, so there's that kind of.
I gave it a 4.
it's Ross, man. I don't like it when he goes on with that kind of
I
casual,
think you know what? If Daemon was here, she would say that I was able to tune him out, and I think that's why I gave it a 4 because
you can. You're right.
like I was able to tune him out. I was able to just be like, look past it and just listen to the music, and the music itself is very produced, very very well. So you know what? It's worth listening to this album for the music.
I wonder if it was live instruments used or just samples. But yes, look, the music is really pleasant and nice. I gave it a 3. And it's really Rick Ross that I didn't like. It's not really the music. It's got an elevator music kind of feel to me. I was very, like old, smooth is the right word. I don't know. It's also not a type of jazz I particularly dig. I've never really felt it. It's Ross going slow, and he's just doing his braggiose, confused shit that I was just complaining about. And I don't know that I can really feel this song. I don't ever want to hear it again. I'm okay with it being done.
Fair enough. Let's move on to Scientology.
Lucky to grow in age, lucky to go insane. They say they spotted some cancer. Mucus built on your brain, but you tell me to keep on praying. Really, this is a blessing. Many been long and gone.
I hate the name of this song, but I almost kind of understand the name of this song because Scientology is a religion with a contract for life, and it's a bunch of bullshit, and it's a giant scam based around money. Hip hop's the same kind of thing. Labels are like chess. He rolls around, and he actually drops an interesting premise. So it's one of the few times where I feel like Rick Ross showed some kind of intelligence, and I was intrigued. But the fact that he chose to use Scientology as his metaphor, it just kind of seemed weird. And the beat. Chris, tell us about the beat.
The beat is fucking annoying. There's
Starts out great, though. Starts out kind of nice.
Perfect.
And it's long. It's even longer than that. It's
like
more like
it's at least 45 seconds long. At least like
and it just comes back for like the rest of the song.
It's
like an air horn in the back of this beat.
No, There's nothing to say. Look, his verse is really nice.
The shortest song on the album.
His verse is nice, but it kills the song. I gave it a 2.
It's a 4 on 5. It took off a point.
It's a 2.
I would have given this a 5 if the beat had been a little nicer and that.
It was getting a 3, and then I made it into a dose.
Nah, this song actually had a point to it. It's a weird example of Rick Ross that if you're one of those people who love backpack rappers and you like to talk shit about crack dealing rappers because you don't like to really look at it, this is a cool Rick Ross song for you to take a gander at because you may actually see something in it, especially if you're into that like fucking lizard people type shit. This is the song for you. I digress.
B.O.B. and Rick Ross must be friends.
I couldn't remember B.O.B. That was what I was thinking of. But yo, the next song we go right back to where we were
Lamborghini Doors. Lamborghini Doors.
You gotta be kidding. Living like we hit the lottery, nigga. I've been tipping since Scotty was pippin', Chad was sipping. And before I had that bag, I used to bag them bitches. I'm so cocky and I'm
the vibe. I fucking like Meek Mill on this song. It's weird to see him on such a softer beat and how they like have to stifle his voice to make him fit into the sound because he like he normally is. No, I like him. His flow's sick, dude. His flow is hype.
No, I don't care. I don't like Meek Mill.
Hype.
I don't like Meek Mill. He's screaming because he's screaming.
He does it with like finesse,
dude.
Man. He's just high energy.
He's just always
and his voice fluctuates so much.
Listen.
He's got so much
listen. Even DMX would scream on every fucking track, and then he had some songs that he's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna take it slow." Meek Mill screams all the time. He's just always mad for no fucking reason.
DMX song is slow. Even when he's slow, he's screaming. I don't know what you're talking
Nah,
about.
there's one of them. He's like sitting on a porch.
So
he's
Meek
sitting
Mill
on a porch
hasn't yet written it. That's fine. That doesn't mean it can't come. And this song is kind of soft.
Well, show me the song that Meek Mill's screaming in, and maybe I'll fucking agree.
He's not really screaming. He's just more high energy.
Dude, this entire song was fucking stupid. Okay,
no,
it
was just more boss shit. It was Meek Mill's on the hook.
Stupid.
Rick Ross sounds exactly the same.
And I don't understand the reference, why they fucking reference like Lamborghini Doors. Because the doors that go up, they're called suicide doors. And suicide is bad. So, fuck off. No, go fuck yourself.
What? It's dude, because they're hype, man. They're
no,
like fucking
literally, we're going up like Lamborghini Doors because Lamborghini Doors go like this. Like, when they go up, they go like that.
So?
And these are suicide doors.
But dude.
And it's like.
But dude, it's a status wealth symbol thing.
Oh
I don't know how you can tell me that those doors aren't
It's just fucking stupid. I just think it's fucking stupid.
You don't want doors that go up like that?
I want doors that go up like that, but I won't fucking reference them to be like, oh, I'm this top. I am this level of status.
He has the Lamborghini. And as he said, he made fun of fucking Birdman for not owning his cars in the other song. So one can only hope and assume that he owns these Lamborghinis. But if that's the case...
2 on 5.
No, but bro, what about Anthony Hamilton? That dude's voice with his singing was fucking blessed.
That was good. That was good.
That was
I just,
really fucking
I didn't
nice.
feel like he's the reason I didn't get a 1.
Are you
Fine.
fucking kidding?
But,
Beat, what
like-
about the beat? The beat was actually good.
I didn't like this. There's
Oh,
no. I
man.
don't like. I
Look,
didn't
I
like
give this a 4.
Ross.
I give this a 4.
And Meek
This is a
just
good fucking
bothers
song.
the fuck out of
Good
me.
fucking,
I can't
so
do it.
Guys, on the internet, good fucking song. It's not,
Shit.
not the best fucking
Shit.
song.
Shit.
Okay, you know what shit though, in my opinion, is this fucking triple platinum bullshit.
Oh my god.
Double R's on the gates like I'm triple platinum. Couple pawns in the lake, the couches in the plastic. Had a phone call with Drake so we could fix the madness.
So I felt this was a boring song. Look, I get the point. You triple platinum everything. Triple platinum in the sense that you're doing better than artists that have gone triple platinum. Triple platinum, you haven't done it, or I guess is what I'm hearing. Or you made more money back in the day off of drugs. Like, fuck off, Rick Ross. Nobody cared. It was slow. It was boring. This beat sucked, in my opinion. And it's like 6 minutes, right? So like halfway through, I was like, fucking, I had to pause this song to finish it. I rarely do that shit. I had to take a break because of how bored I fucking was on this song. It was just, the premise was so vain, and I did not enjoy it at all.
I hate this song. I hate the repetitiveness. I hate the fact that he says triple platinum all the fucking time. I hate like
And he
everything
says
about
it
this song.
like literally
Skrilla comes back. Skrilla comes and he kind of
he
saves the
doesn't
day.
save anything.
I really think Skrilla saved it. That's why I gave this song a 3 because I was like,
I had
oh, okay,
trouble
cool.
even with this Skrilla
But
guy.
like, no, triple platinum. Even my girlfriend was like, oh my god, we get it. Triple platinum, go fuck yourself. Like, this is annoying. I hate when rappers fucking do this.
Like, there's nothing to this.
There's goodbye.
Look,
Next.
I want to like say like it is, but so many at this point the blender effect is in full effect. The blender effect being when songs similar to each other on an album all kind of sound the same, and you're trying to find new shit to talk about as a critic. You don't want the internet to make fun of you like they did on our Ed Sheeran episode. No,
It just fucking mashes together for no fucking reason.
no. So fuck this song. But let's talk about Maybach.
Maybach Music 5.
Pots told me he was a crook. I was running too long. He was chasing, didn't trip. How'd he do it? I don't know. But somehow I got hooked. Thug passion. He's so compassionate.
So Rick Ross is as boring on this song as the previous few, but
Dead
She's
Slow
so
is
hype.
fucking dope.
Oh my gosh.
This song made me feel like just kind of take a moment to break away and disconnect from the world and just be like,
And the other
remember
girl-
who you are and who your people
and then
around
there's,
you are.
Kat Rockwell, who does the other singing on the hook, and it's really fucking beautiful. And the beat just sounds like Kenny Rogers playing saxophone. I'll show you Kenny Rogers after if you don't know who that is. It's fucking great to me. It's elevator music that they're fucking doing the shit on again. Then Rick Ross comes and ruins the fucking song for me. Like, honestly, had it just been Dej Loaf and the next chick over this beat, I might have given this shit like a 5 because she's that dope.
No,
And
she's fucking
I'm
dope.
gonna have to go put on her shit after. I know she was on Detroit on everything with Eminem and the Shady X5 crew, but at the same time, Rick Ross does nothing but ruin this song.
No,
in
he
my
just
opinion.
no.
3
But
on 5.
I did like the premise of the song though. I gave it a
What
4
was
on
it?
5.
I don't even know what the premise was.
It was just like it was kind of like giving you, like I said, giving you a moment to disconnect and remembering who's around you, your family, your friends, the people you care and love for, and it's just, you know, we all go through struggles, but we got each other's backs when you're there for each other and blah blah blah. I did like the message. I did give it a 4 on 5, but Ross, stop.
No, don't stop. Keep getting better features, because at least we have half a shit of it. Because if it was just Ross, can you imagine? Okay, same thing on this song next. Okay, Ross. Thankfully, he had all these extra friends, and
It's okay though, because apparently, you know, everybody's gonna get rich in summer 17.
I'm out on bars, so I gotta beat it. All the dope boys say they wanna beat me. Boss. I got a lick, boy, I got a lick. 2017, trust me, boy, this one is it.
Now, Purple Lamborghini, Skrillex, fucking, wait, no, that's not this song.
No, it's not. But yeah.
May as well be.
It's basically sampled
Holy
the
shit.
entire fucking
and the
way.
flow, man.
Like
his flow is identical. Like, I swear this is Purple.
I sat there
Who
and
was on
as the drop goes, I'm like, purple Lamborghini, purple. Like What? And then you realized, wait, no, that's not the lyrics.
Oh, summer 16, summer.
You know,
Yo Gotti's hype. Again, whatever. I've never heard him before.
Really?
Never. I don't care much for trap, so it's not really my favorite type
Oh,
of
okay.
music. But like, look, this song was okay because Purple Lamborghini is a well-composed song. When Skrillex is involved, it's okay. It was never great, but this is just all of the Rick Ross of Purple Lamborghini with
Horrible
none of the
outro.
Skrillex.
Horrible last song. I apologize. Like,
This was not like an album with a project. There's no real intro or outro.
so it was just
here.
it was
It's
just an
the
album.
last song on the album. It's just a bunch of songs thrown together.
There's
to
not
make
even a
some money.
point to it,
Look,
Ross.
he has another album coming this year that we're gonna have to get to on Headspace for sure. The Port of Miami too, and I'm hoping for more of a real album experience. But this, whatever. So I gave this song before we talk about the album. I gave it a 3 on 5. Mostly because Yaw Gotti and the beat are hype, but Rick Ross is same kind of shit. There's nothing special to it. Everybody gets rich this summer is his goal, and then he has another album coming. Fuck it. I don't
3
know.
on 5. There's nothing else to really say, dude. There's not much. It's Purple Lamborghini, just a little twisted, and then you're done.
All right, so I have to say about this album, I didn't hate it. I gave it a 3.45, which
Oh shit!
I
Really?
think is actually the lowest rating I've given on any of the shows because I'm a pretty generous grader, but Rick Ross didn't actually give a lot. It's not bad. It still passes, per se. This album will deserve whatever it sells, and if he plays the hype and battles game correctly with Birdman, he can actually make a lot of money off of it.
That is fucking hilarious because I also gave it a 3.45.
But it's just not good, man. It's not like it stands out. There's virtually only the Powers That Be song that I could see myself listening to ever again. And I guess Port of Miami too. Hope it's
Look,
better.
something's got to change, Ross. Something's got to change. I mean, you're well respected. You've got mad respect from certain people, and I respect you as an artist.
We'll
but
say ish.
but do
I
something
like,
with your craft.
Rick, I respect you as a guy who knows how to work with good artists.
You want to wear the crown? Show us why you
are
have
a
to wear
great
the crown.
businessman. You're like, I'll give you that. Anyway, fuck it. My headspace is getting full. Like, subscribe, share this video. Tell us what you care about, what you want to hear. Make sure to tell Chris that he gets his knowledge on, and he'll do it if you comment below. We're going to bring this up until we get that comment. And next week, Daemon will be back, and it'll have less testosterone in the room. So until the next time.